I thought for my first vlog I would talk about how I got into this attachment parenting stuff. Well, I trained as a doula about 2 years ago now for Birthworks International, and it started with that really. I didn't attachment parent with C. I was completely overwhelmed by this whole parenting thing. C had multiple issues with feeding and it was all a bit chaotic really. But I baby wore him until I got pregnant with B. So I did some bits of it. I also co-slept with him. Well, bed shared really. We co-slept for the first year, and then C moved into his own room and we bed shared with C until I think about 4 months, when he decided he wanted his own space. He just wouldn't settle with us anymore. There goes an ambulance. So we moved him into his own bed and then into his own room. So I knew a little bit about attachment parenting through my work as a doula. And then as I got further and further into it, I absolutely loved it. I saw the effects that it was working with my clients and thought it was beautiful. So I knew when I had Bernadette that was what I wanted to do. So when B was born, I already knew we were going to co-sleep, but getting through those newborn days is really, really hard. So preparing for attachment parenting, that's what I'm going to talk about today. So while I was pregnant with B, I read some David Chamberlain books. The first one that I actually read was Windows to the Womb, and I decided not to get ultrasounds during my pregnancy with B. I only got 2, which is standard in the US, but here it's quite normal to have 3, 4, 5. I got 1 to check the placement of the baby because I had some pain in the first trimester, and then I got 1 because my appendix threatened to go. So that was what happened to my plan to not have any. Windows to the Womb was amazing because it talked about how babies interact in the womb, and David Chamberlain did a lot of work with hypnotherapy and people reliving back to their newborn days and their birth. I really want to read this other book. It's another book called Babies Remember Birth, but it's really hard to find. This, The Mind of Your Newborn Baby. This has kept me going. It talks about how, so he interviewed a whole bunch of mums and babies who had their babies in the 60s and 70s and put them under hypnosis and had them remember their birth and then compare it to their parents. A lot of them had never spoken to their parents about their birth before. Oh, yuck, lie, go away. And they remembered the same thing. And it was just amazing because we'd always assumed that babies didn't remember their birth. And it talked about how isolated and alone they felt in their own beds and how their parents' relationship suffered because they had differences of parenting. And I talked to my partner all through as I read these, and he completely agreed with me to bed share, which meant he was in his own room as he is overweight and a heavy sleeper. And you can't safely bed share if you drink, smoke, are overweight, use lots of blankets, or are a heavy sleeper, or I said drink already, didn't I? Yeah, so those are the 5 things that you can't do if you want to safely bed share. I don't do any of those. I'm not a heavy sleeper. I don't use blankets. I don't have pillows. Actually, I lie. I have 1 pillow. And yeah, I don't smoke and I don't drink. So bed sharing was a go for me, not for him, which is fine because Nick actually has his own room anyway. He has severe sleep apnea, and that means that he can't go into REM sleep, and he doesn't sleep very well, and he snores really, really, really badly. So I can't sleep next to him. So he sleeps in his own room. No, our relationship is not falling apart. That's just how it works for us. And then the next book I read was Sarah Jane Buckley's book, Gentle Birth, Gentle Mothering. Now, Sarah Jane Buckley is a doctor. She is She goes around all around the world now talking about her books and talking about her research into various parts of her books. Like she's also doesn't like ultrasounds of pregnancy. She had home births. I so wanted a home birth, but I couldn't have one, sadly. And yeah, it was just so. These books were really my introduction into attachment parenting. The other ones worth an honourable mention: Ina May's Guide to Childbirth, Ina May's Guide to Breastfeeding, Baby-led Breastfeeding. What else have I got on my handy dandy shelf? Human Development, Family, Place and Culture, which was actually by some of my professors at Waikato University when I studied, Claiborne and Drury. They took my child development course in first year. Michel, Odent, Cathy, Duab, all of their books well worth a read if you're interested in attachment parenting. So yeah, as you can see, I wear my baby. I wear him constantly. Hi baby. I used to wear my toddler, but he is 20 kilos and heavy. You found another stick. Wow, it didn't come out of my garden, did it? Can you not shove it around like that? Yeah, don't do that in the house, baby. My partner has his own ring sling and he is behind me 100%. To be honest, I couldn't attachment parent without him. He, in the early days, cooked meals for me, made sure I had water and snacks when I was feeling down and, oh, I don't want this baby on me for another second. He'd take the baby and send me for a nap. I couldn't do any of it without him. He's just been amazing. So I have a couple videos planned. I will talk more about my baby wearing, more about my co-sleeping, more about my breastfeeding relationship, which is difficult to say best. Bernadette has a lip tie, so which has not been revised. Very difficult. Yeah, and talk about my garden and crafty things and all that. I've got lots planned, so I will see you soon. God bless.